What is going on, everyone? Trust the buzz here if you're new to the channel. I make Charlotte Hornets content, so if that interests you, make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. If you cannot tell by the thumbnail title of this video, in today's video, we're going to be talking about the 34th pick, Ryan Kalkbrenner from Creighton. I love this pick. I thought this was a really good pick. He's like a fifth-year senior, a four-time defensive player of the year in the Big East, and he was definitely like the anchor of that Creighton defense. And I mean, you really couldn't ask for a better pick. I think maybe Maxime Renaud maybe fit what we're trying to do offensively, but at some point you did need a defensive anchor, and that's, I can't expect them to take Maxime Renaud when I've said before that Mark Williams produces a lot, but he's not impactful. I feel like Ryan Kalkbrenner is impactful. He's a very, very impactful defender at the rim. I like a little. He's obviously slow, but I do like some of his anticipation out there on the perimeter. Obviously, you don't want to put him on a quick guard or anything like that. But if you want to put him on, the other team's worst shooter or second, or maybe someone that's just not the offensive engine for that particular lineup, I think you could fare well with it. So I'm thinking like more in like 5-out scenarios. Ryan Kalkbrenner can still kind of be on the floor. He doesn't have to be one of those guys where, obviously you want to match up lineups, but you don't have to necessarily just take him out the game just because they go 5-out. I think he still has some potential to even work on that and get better. But yeah, Ryan Kalkbrenner, a great pickup. He's really good at the rim as far as finishing. So I like the pick and roll ideas. He's pretty decent at making that second read on the roll. So I think that's very important. Like he can, set a pick for LaMelo, roll down, catch it. If someone rotates over, he can hit that open man in that corner more than likely. I really like kind of a lot of things he's able to do. But yeah, it doesn't get better than his finishing at the rim. In fact, let's go over to the stats. As you could tell, it doesn't get much better than him. As you can see, he shot 66% for his whole career, and 65%, 70% here. And look at his 2-pointers. Like, this is like, obviously, no threes attempted. He's shooting in the 70s. I mean, it really just doesn't get better than that. 3.1 blocks. He got better every single season. Every year, I felt like he was adding something more and more to his game. And even last year, I thought he should have came out. So I think that this is an exceptional pick. I'm not really sold on the idea maybe of him like starting day one or anything like that. It's a possibility. Like if we keep the center room kind of the way it is currently, I wouldn't mind starting him, but I would still like a veteran big, and then just have him just play a lot of those backup minutes, and then have Nurkic just chill, like come in and do some things. Because Nurkic still, I think, is a impactful player in his own way. So I still could see a place where they all get minutes, but I definitely feel like Ryan Kalkbrenner should get some solid minutes this upcoming season. Not just because of our center room, but more so he's just that talented to me. He's just that talented where I feel as though he can make an impact. Bigs, when they transition to the league, it does take some time, but just him with his collegiate experience, it's not like Creighton was a bad team ever. I mean, I don't even think one of these years they might have missed a tournament one year. I can't remember, but I know like the last 3 they made. So Kalkbrenner, great player. I think he's going to be really good for us. I like, the drop big stuff. It's going to be really hard for people to get to the rim, which we've seen like with Mark Williams, Nick Richards. They're big bodies, but they just didn't have that intuition of just being able to really protect the rim. Kalkbrenner has that. He had it since day one, as you could tell. Even his freshman year. Now, he only played 14 minutes, but he averaged a block. Like that's the type of rim protection you can expect from him. I know people are going to think automatically he can shoot, or that's kind of like what's been told out there. But if you really watch it, it's not that strong. And then a lot of it was at like the top of the key. He shot well from there. He shot pretty good from there. So I think that's like something to look at is how well he shot from there, and you wonder like what it would look like if you were to put him in the corners and maybe do some things right there. And then obviously the Hornets at times last year would run sets to where Mark Williams is on the wing. So maybe if you think about it in that sense, Kalkbrenner and his efficiency at is just he simply did not take corner threes. They had him out on at the top of the arc. So you could use him in that way. And we already used our bigs that way. They just weren't able to shoot. And that was just so it's harder for the big or whoever matched up on him to kind of go down and try to protect the rim. But I think Kalkbrenner is good enough to where you put him in that scenario, they have to at least stand there. Like, he might burn him a few times, and there's going to be times where he's just not hitting, but it's still a threat. And I think that's the biggest thing the Hornets need in really a lot of positions, but specifically the center position when it comes to shooting, just to be a threat. He doesn't have to be this elite dude. Like, if he shot 32, maybe 32, 33% a year for his career, I think you're willing to take that. Especially for a big. So, yeah, I really like Ryan Kalkbrenner. I think he's going to do a lot of good things for us. I like how he's able to hold down the paint. I like, that second read stuff that I mentioned. I think that's going to be very, very important the way this offense likes to move. I really like his screening. He's a very good screener. That's something I also mentioned about, like, Rasheer Fleming and even Nick Richards was on and off with screening. He did set very, very solid screens, and that's just going to be so important for this offense, and I think we're getting it with him. So I really, really like this pickup. I mean, I really don't have any complaints. I'll tell you right now, Kalkbrenner's not going to expect to put up these numbers that he put up in college, but I think he's still going to have like a similar impact. I think we could see like a trajectory of him having like, I think it's closer to, if you want to assume what his stats would be in the NBA, like consistently, I think it's going to be closer to like this freshman year range, but I probably see like a little more rebounding and maybe a little more points and then obviously a little more blocks, but it's going to be something like that. Like, he's just always going to be solid. His quickness is obvious, is a little disappointing in ways, but he's he's 7'1". I can't really expect him to be too fast, but still, at the end of the day, I really like him. I think he's going to be a good player for us. It gives us that inside rim protection, which we don't have. And even with Musa, like, he gets some blocks and stuff, but it's really just about like his intensity, his strong frame. Kalkbrenner is just a true in and out, like through and through shot blocker, and that's what we really need. Like that's kind of like the allure with Miles Turner. They're not the same player by any means, but Miles Turner hit that block rate, like as good of a blocker Miles Turner is, like that. Sometimes you need that. Sometimes the rim deterrence isn't enough. You need guys that really just swat the ball, and we get that with Kalkbrenner. So I really like the pick, man. I really like the pick. But let me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section below, and I'll talk to you guys next time.